Hola y bienvenido a mi canal. Hello and welcome to my channel. In today's lesson, we're gonna have a look at how to introduce yourself and how to greet in Spanish. Entonces, empecemos. First of all, we're gonna have a look at how to introduce yourself and how to greet someone in an informal situation. Hola, me llamo Elena. Hola, me llamo Elena. ¿Y tú, cómo te llamas? ¿Y tú, cómo te llamas?
Me llamo Pablo.
Mucho gusto. Mucho gusto.
El gusto es mío. El gusto es mío.
Let's have a look now closely at the key vocabulary to use when you find yourself in an informal situation. With someone, you would say hola. Hola, which means hello or hi. To introduce yourself, you would use the phrase me llamo Elena and your name. Me llamo Elena. Pleasure to meet you is mucho gusto. Mucho gusto. And at the end, you could simply say adios. Adios. Remember, when you want to ask someone what's their name in an informal situation, you would ask like, ¿Cómo te llamas? So you would use the pronoun tú, which is an informal you. Now let's have a look at the formal situation, how to greet someone and how to introduce yourself when you find yourself in a formal situation. Buenos días. Soy Elena Jiménez. ¿Y usted cómo se llama? Soy Elena Jiménez. ¿Y usted cómo se llama?
Me llamo Pablo García. Me llamo.
Remember, when you find yourself in a formal situation, instead of saying hola, you could say buenos días. Buenos días, which means good morning, and you would use it until 12 p.m. If it's after 12 p.m., you would say buenas tardes. Buenas tardes. And you would usually use it until 6 or 7 o'clock. And then when it's evening time, you would say buenas noches. Buenas noches. And now let's have a closer look what vocabulary you need to know if you find yourself in a formal situation and you want to introduce yourself and greet someone. If it's morning time, you would say buenos días. Buenos días, which is good morning. If it's after 12 p.m., you would say buenas tardes. Buenas tardes. And if it's an evening time, you would say buenas noches. Buenas noches. To introduce yourself, you would use the phrase me llamo Elena. Me llamo Elena. And you could add your surname, like me llamo Elena Jiménez. At the end of the dialogue, you can simply say adios. Adios. Remember, in a formal situation, if you want to ask someone what's their name, you would have to say ¿Cómo se llama? ¿Cómo se llama? And the pronoun that you would be using is usted, which is a polite form of addressing someone in Spanish.
So what's the particularity of Spanish names? So just like in English, they have first name, they have middle name, but they have two surnames. They have family name inherited by mom and family name inherited from the dad side. So they have two surnames. So every Spanish citizen have two names and two surnames that you need to remember. So let's have a look at those masculine and female names, the most common ones. For masculines are Alejandro, Antonio, Daniel, Francisco, José, Juan, y Pablo. For female names, there are Alejandra, which is a feminine version of Alejandro, Ana, Carmen, Dolores, Maria, Martina, Paula. Okay, these are one of the most common Spanish names that you need to know so that you know how to pronounce them when you meet some Spanish people. Let's have a look now how to greet in a formal situation. So you will need to use first name and the surname. So like an example, Buenas tardes, Juan Garcia. So we have Juan, which is the first name, and Garcia, which is the surname. Very common surname in Spanish. So remember it. And how to greet in an informal situation. So you will use only first name. So you, for example, would just say, Hola, Alejandra. So let's practice now. Buenas tardes. Me llamo Carmen Torres. Eso es mi compañera, Juan Flores. ¿Usted cómo se llama? ¿Usted cómo se llama? So it's a dialogue that is situated in a formal situation, and you need to use, as you can see, full version of the name. So you need to use your name and the surname, and usually you would use just one of your surnames. So in an informal situation, it's much easier. So you would simply say, Hola, me llamo Paola. ¿Y tú cómo te llamas? So in an informal situation, you only have to use first name. Simple. Now, like in English, in Spanish, after you meet someone, you would usually ask, how are you? Let's have a look how to say that. Hola, ¿qué tal? Or, ¿cómo estás? Hola, ¿qué tal? Or you can say, ¿cómo estás? Now, this is for informal situation, and ¿qué tal is commonly used. So you could either ask, ¿qué tal? Or, ¿cómo estás? And to answer this question, you could say, Estoy estupendo, gracias. Estoy estupendo, gracias. Estoy bien, gracias. Estoy bien, gracias. No estoy mal, gracias. No estoy mal, gracias. Pues estoy más o menos bien. Pues estoy más o menos bien. Estoy mal. Estoy mal. Have you noticed that the verb that we are using is estoy, which is verb estar, and we're going to have a look now how to conjugate the verb estar so that you'll be able to use it in any situation. So verb estar means in English to be. Just like English verb to be, verb estar has different forms for different person, and we're going to have a look at this conjugation table. So for Spanish, if I want to say I am, you would need to say yo estoy, or simply estoy, which means I am. When you're addressing someone as tú, which is you for singular, you would need to say estás, you are. For he, she, or polite form of you, so él, ella, or usted, you would need to say está, which is he, she, or you are. Nosotros is we, and we need to say estamos, which is we are. Vosotros is plural you, and we will need to say estáis, which is you are for plural. And ellos, ellas, ustedes, which means they, we need to say están, which means they are. So as you can see, the verb estar is part of the verbs that end in their infinitive form on AR, and this is the largest group of verbs in Spanish. And as you can see, the endings of this verb is changing according to person that you're talking about. Exception is only the first person, which is slightly irregular, because usually the ending for the first person in singular, so for the form I, would be the ending O. But here it's slightly irregular, and it is estoy.
So the curious part of the Spanish language is that the verb to be, it could either be translated in Spanish as ser or estar. We just had a look at the form estar in the next couple of lessons. I'm going to explain what is the difference between the verb ser and what is the difference between the verb estar. All set to go out there and make your own micro dialogues in Spanish. And remember that practicing in real time, having your real conversation with real Spanish-speaking people is key to acquire fluency in any language. On this note, I'm gonna finish the lesson, and don't forget to hit the like button if you like the lesson, comment me in the comment box below, and of course subscribe to my channel if you're new to the channel so that you're not gonna miss your next lesson. Hasta luego, bye bye, see you in the next